Hi everyone, welcome to Sobel DIY. My name is Leanne, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to use Dollar Tree materials to recreate this really pretty farmhouse carousel horse style decor piece. So let's get into a list of the materials you will need for this project. In the toys section at Dollar Tree, you can pick up one of these toy horses. In the craft section, you will need to get the long wooden dowels, a black Sharpie marker. One of these items, you can use this mirror that I got from Dollar Tree or also this round circular wooden piece. This is a paint sample from Home Depot in an off-white, a brown paint and a black paint, a regular paintbrush and a stiff bristled paintbrush, a sanding sponge, scissors, hot glue gun and glue sticks, some wooden beads, and one of these little succulent pieces that you can pick up in the plant section. Begin by removing the tags and the horse hair and tail, and the sharper the scissors the better, but you will likely have to go back over like I did. I cut and then I went back and got a little pair of sharper scissors to get those last little remaining pieces off. I also wanted to say that I did forget to mention that you will need a hand drill and a drill bit about the size of the dowel that you will be using for this project, just to be able to place the horse onto the dowel. So we will need a hand drill also. For the mane and the tail for the horse, I only ended up using one of these little succulent plant pieces, and you'll just want to cut all of the little individual pieces off. The only pieces you will not need to cut off is the piece that is in the very center of the succulents, and this piece we're going to use for the horse's fringe area and to add support to the center to glue onto the main part where the hair originally was. So we're going to use this as a base piece for building up the mane, and all you'll want to do is, if you have a heating tool that you use to dry your paint, I just use the heat to fold it over a little bit, but we are going to be gluing it down, so if you don't have that, don't worry. But I'm just applying just a little bit of the hot glue down the center of the neck, and then we will apply it down, and then I will be using hot glue to hold the fringe area down in the direction that I wanted it to go. Again, here I'm just using my heating tool to heat up the little strands there to help them fold over a little easier. But again, if you don't have this tool, then just skip this step. But I'm just going to apply some hot glue and lay the hairs down in the way that I want. And you don't want to use too much, just a little will do fine. And make sure to protect your fingers and use something like I'm using my paintbrush to hold the hairs down while they're drying, so just be very careful not to burn your fingers. If you need any extra inspiration on what a horse mane looks like, then just do a Google search of horses and look at the images, and that will give you a little inspiration as to what a horse mane looks like. So I am just creating the rest of the mane by taking the little pieces that we cut, and I am gluing just there on the tip to the underside, and then I am just gluing that alongside that middle stem part that we removed from the succulent. And I only ended up doing one row of these, but of course you can build it up to however thick you want, but after one row I thought it looked fine. And then to help to create like a seamless blend and give it a little more support, just take your hot glue and go right up the center, and that will help to add a little bit more support and, like I said, create that really seamless blend. And next we will be working on the horse's tail. So again, you'll just be taking the same pieces and adding a little hot glue. And what we're going to do is just add one or two pieces to the existing area that the tail was on. And then you'll want to just build up around that as thick as you want. And these fit really nicely against each other. So just adding little bits of hot glue and building up the tail to look however you would like for it to look. Now I'm going to move on to the painting, and a tip that I can give you after my experience in doing this is if you want to avoid the headache of trying to paint and get in between all those individual pieces to cover up all that green, you can paint the little pieces before you glue them on. So that is another option. It really wasn't that difficult. It just made it a little bit more tedious having to take my paintbrush and get in between there. So that's just a little extra tip that you can paint them before you glue them on. And here is what it looks like after one coat of the white paint. Moving on to the chipped enamel technique, you will take your black permanent marker and you'll just want to go around any of the edges or raised areas and areas that you would naturally start to see paint chipping over time if this were an actual antique. And you'll go around and do as little or as much of this detail as you would like, and you'll just want to make jagged or uneven markings in varying sizes, and that really gives this an authentic look. If you are a returning viewer or follower of my channel, you have probably noticed that I use these painting styles a lot, like the faux wood grain look, the faux rusted galvanized look, and of course the chipped enamel look. And I love how any of these really fit so perfectly into the farmhouse style of decor and really just add such a nice touch. Also, if you are a returning viewer or follower, I would just like to say thank you so much for all of the support. Y'all are the reason that I continue to share these ideas and make these tutorials, and I just appreciate y'all so much and just wanted to take the moment to say that. The dowel piece that you'll be using to support your horse, you will just want to paint black, and you can water down the black too, and it helps it spread a little easier. Next, we are going to go ahead and drill a hole through the center of our little wooden piece. And if you are using a mirror or another piece, you can try to do the hot glue for this step like I did in the galvanized horse with the sanding stone. That worked really well. But if you're using the little wooden piece, then you'll just want to drill a hole that's very similar to the same size, using the same size drill bit as the little piece, and then that way it'll just fit nice and securely in. For adding the hole through the horse, you want to be very careful to make sure that you are going straight through, and if it does kind of pop it open like it did here, that's okay. It just presses back together, and then you can just slide it right onto the dowel, and then you'll want to go ahead and paint over the bottom little wooden circle as well. Next, I'm going to take one of my beads, and I'm just finding one that I think is a nice size, so just choose whatever size you like, and I'm just gluing it right there to the top, and then we will paint it black as well. To add the rusting look to the chipping enamel, you'll just take a brown paint and a stiff bristled paintbrush, and you'll want to lightly saturate your paintbrush in the paint. Like I said, just get very little on it, and then you'll just want to make little stippling or dabbing motions over all of the markings that you've made, and just in little random areas to kind of add that old and rusted effect to the chipped enamel. Then you should end up with something that looks like this. And that is all for today's tutorial, and I did this similarly on my channel before with a galvanized type of finish, executed a little differently, and it didn't have the mane and tail, and several of you mentioned that you would like to see it have the mane and tail, so I wanted to recreate this one for you guys. But I do love how this one came out, and if you have liked this, please make sure to follow me so you'll be notified when I upload more fun, affordable farmhouse DIYs like this, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye!